Maria, now over 80 years old, tells us her own true story about Stromboli. Normally, this active volcano stays a moderate monster. But for many people, it was the last thing they saw in their life. And that included Maria's grandfather. The violent eruption of 1930 not only resulted in a huge flow of lava, but also triggered a tsunami. Her grandfather never returned from a fishing trip with his rowing boat, Iolo. Only 5 years old, she found him dead on the beach and had to realize that this was no longer a game. Every time Maria visits her grandfather's grave, she brings flowers in a glass of water. She is angry with the rumbling volcano. And in the church, she swears vengeance because she knows that Stromboli and the wind god Iolo are keeping him hidden. Ever since she was young, Maria has never been able to let go of her grandfather's soul. On the Stromboli lava rock, Maria and her grandfather once hid a wooden box together. Inside it, she finds a yellow sulfur stone and a sketch of the way to the top. Grandfather's soul calls her up the mountain. Up she goes, on her own. When no path existed, this was an arduous journey of more than 3 hours through sand and ashes, up to the Pizzo Peak at 900 meters. Little by little, she approaches the jaws of the monster without knowing when it might catch her. Here on top of Stromboli, Maria stood as a young woman alone in 1948. Face to face with the unspeakable force that shows what nature is capable of, Maria spent the night on the mountain, at the place where nature exhorts to humility. Maria finds her peace and reconciliation in the womb of the volcano, lying on a beautifully shaped piece of lava, which she silently hugs. Only now in the film do we see Maria. She clutches the same headscarf that she wore as a child and a young woman. Blown by the wind, it flutters away. We follow it until it returns to the place where Maria was sitting. But she has disappeared. As part of this story of love and yearning, people from the Stromboli region tell of their life here in the shadow of uncertainty. An old fisherman and poet who loves his paradise on earth. A lava rock artist. A painter and hedonist. A volcanologist who talks about this place of pilgrimage for volcano researchers, where Stromboli is a patient, wired and tubed, like in a hospital. Nino, the mountain guide, has been bringing tourists up this volcano for 30 years. He can tell a lot of amusing stories. And Swiss photographer Daniel Holzer, now over 80 years old, wants to go up Stromboli again and tell us about his adventure. In 1952, he dared to take the world's first 16mm film footage right on the edge of the crater, constantly bombarded by fiery lava rocks. I wouldn't do that anymore today. It was almost suicidal, he says. This film is made using a fully stabilized 3D camera drone, which for the first time enables breathtaking shots of the crater and eruptions. We first carried out test flights with a small 2D camera drone to see how it stood up to the explosions and heat in the crater.